Welcome to Six Figure Coaches with Luke Charlton, where every week we interview a successful coach and break down their business. We take you behind the scenes in their marketing, advertising, and sales campaigns. We show you what's working. We show you their frameworks, their proven strategies, so you can implement them in your business to grow. Now let's bring on this week's guest. Here is your host, Luke Charlton. Hey, this is Luke Charlton here, and welcome back to another episode of the Six Figure Coaches Show. Very excited to have you here, and very excited to bring on another guest today. She's another client, another very successful coach. I'm excited to dive into her business and share with you how she's selling very, very high-end packages. Like I'm talking like 20, 25K and above type packages, and showing you how she's getting consistent flow of clients into her business as well. Now, just before we do, remember, with the Six Figure Coaches Show, we premiere inside my private Facebook group, The Hermit Hole. Every week, these episodes go in there first. They premiere there first, and then they launch in iTunes and Stitcher and all the other podcast platforms in their audio forms. But if you want to get access to them first and watch these first, excuse me, oh my gosh, got something stuck in my throat. If you want to get access to them first, just go over to thehermithole.com. That'll take you straight to the Facebook group. You can join there, and then, as I said, these premiere each week inside that group. And then obviously there's lots of other great stuff that you get access to by joining that group as well. Lots of other trainings to help you grow your coaching business, help you get more clients. All right, so with that being said, that's the Hermit Hole. Let's bring on today's guest. I'm super excited to bring on Samantha Hurst. We've been working with Samantha probably about 18 months now. So I run Samantha's ads. And basically, actually, I'll let Samantha kind of go into a bit more about her business. But the reason why I'm really excited to bring on Samantha is because she gets a really good return on her ad spend. And I want to talk about the metrics behind that, kind of like how she does that, and the strategy that she's using, and showing you that you don't need, again, a complex funnel system to get really good results with paid advertising. If that's the type of strategy that you want to use, you can have it very simple and get a really great return as long as you do things the right way, which we'll talk about today on today's podcast. So with that being said, Sam, welcome to the Six Figure Coaches Show. Very excited to have you here. And why don't you just let the coaches listening in know a little bit about your background in terms of how you got into you basically help people kind of create and build their own e-commerce store, and then launch it and run it and show them how to scale their own e-commerce store. Basically take them from point A to point Z, from startup to all the way to scaling. So how did you get into this? Let us know a little bit about your story.
Yeah, sure. Great. Thanks for having me today. So basically I started Clickstart Digital. It was over 10 years ago. At that time I was burnt out corporate, like most corporates. And I always knew I wanted to be my own boss and run my own business, but I didn't know. I sort of dabbled with online stores and things like that up to that point. I had a lingerie business actually online, and it did quite well. And I eventually left my corporate job and just focused on that full time.
Yep.
And then I realized pretty quickly that's not something that I really wanted to personally do myself. Like, I was more entrepreneurial. I loved creating things and coming up with business ideas, and all the sort of startup phase of a business was what really excited me. So the lingerie business I had for 4 years, and I was a bit bored, so I sold that. And then at that time I was doing some consulting work for a big venture capital company here in Australia, and the guy that ran the fund actually said to me, you've got such a unique set of skills and you love helping people, like you get excited about creating stores and coming up with ideas and all that sort of side of things. He said, why don't you turn that into a business? And literally within a week I had the website set up and off I went.
Yeah, cool. And what was it like in the beginning? Was it easy do you just kind of say, hey, I'll help you launch an e-commerce store? Or like, what was that like getting your first few clients?
Yeah, it was tough, like all new businesses. It's no, there's no overnight success. It takes years. And in the first 12 months, there was lots of tweaks and changes. And I think when I started, it was just like, I was using some crappy, I can't even remember what it was called now, website platform that was available back then, and creating these sort of e-commerce stores on this platform. And then I had like a PDF training manual, which was like 10 pages long. And that's what I used to give to people.
Yep.
And I think back
Well,
then
to run their whole business, a 10-page PDF.
yeah, literally.
Wow.
It's like, here's the basics. Now there's the store. Off you go.
Imagine you did that today. Like, I'll take you 25 grand. Here's this 10-page PDF. Off you go.
Back then, I was selling the packages at like $3,000 or something. So
Yeah, wow.
very big difference where I'm you know, where I'm at now, obviously. So, but this is how I sort of started out. And then just over the time, I quickly realized that people wanted that coaching. You know, I realized quickly that it wasn't just about the business idea. You know, most people can go out and jump on Shopify and create a store and whatever and work it out as you go. But what I realized, it's just, you know, it's a tough journey being an entrepreneur, especially a new entrepreneur. And I realized pretty quickly that that one-on-one coaching was really important to people. And that's what they really needed to stay on track, focused, and just have someone there to hold their hand, because it's like a roller coaster when you get started in any business. And yeah, and that's kind of when the coaching sort of came in. And then over the years, obviously, I've just tweaked and changed and and still tweaking and changing things, as you know.
It's always, isn't it, constant process.
Like
I know. I was thinking the other day, like, one of the things when I first started my business is, like, again, 10 years ago, similar to you, I used to put all my to-dos that I had done in like Evernote, and I'd stopped doing it, but I wish I had like that list still, because it would be like probably like a million, you know, those little things that you do to like tweak. I have to kind of fix this part thing in the email automation or whatever it is. It's just like, it's never ending, those little things, the tweaks that we have to do. But anyway, that's interesting. So in terms of like your business now versus like back then, what are the biggest things that have changed?
Oh God, everything. My inclusions, the price. I feel like everything's changed. How I market the business.
Let's talk about that. Like, what has changed in terms of, actually, how did you get your clients initially? Was it just referrals? And then, because you do advertising now, so what was the kind of path that led you from initial way to get clients to then now running ads at quite a high level?
I think back then, look, to be honest, it was such a long time ago, I can't really remember, but I do remember I started out sort of doing just Google ads, and because that's what I had done with my lingerie business. And back then, advertising, online ads were easy, right? It's like you turn your business on and off by turning the ads on and off, and there was not as much competition. So it literally was so easy. I just, with the lingerie business, I'd flick on the Google ad, all these sales would pour in. If I wanted to go on holidays, you just turn the ad off, and then, you know, the sales would trickle off. It was so easy. You know, this was pre-Google shopping and everything else. It was just like text ads. There was nothing really else available back then. So I just kind of applied that to Clickstart when I started it. I think I would have just started out probably just doing Google ads. And then I can't remember, to be honest, when I started to do Facebook ads and everything else. But yeah, over the years, I've tested lots of different social platforms and things. But as you know, I just stick with Facebook and Google. They're sort of the ones that produce the best results. So yeah, I can't even remember, to be honest, when I started doing Facebook ads, but that's sort of
because you already kind of sold on, or, you know, you already started with that, because a lot of coaches, right, they usually start their business in the organic strategies, like with the referrals, you know, going to Facebook groups and stuff. I guess because of your background with your previous e-commerce or the lingerie, you kind of had to run ads, right, to get customers. So you naturally just started doing that with this business, it sounds like.
100%. Well, when you're online or when you're a business and no one knows about you, you know, if you're sitting around waiting for word of mouth, which is an old school way of marketing, I mean, sure, it works for some business models, but not for online and not really for my business model. So, I mean, I still get lots of referrals now, but I mean, if I had to depend on it, I certainly would be making, you know, millions of dollars.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, not very scalable, and it's quite inconsistent, the referrals. And that's actually when most coaches come to see me, is they don't like the inconsistency. Like, yes, they can get referrals, but they want something that's more consistent and more scalable as well.
Yeah, totally.
And so can you just run people through, like, because you've got a couple of different things going on with the way that you attract clients with paid advertising. Now, again, just for some context, like for Sam, what she sells is a high-end package where you coach people through, right, on how to launch. You do a lot of the tech for them, the setup for them, and then you coach them from there, like how to run the ads and that stuff. So It's very kind of quite intensive what you do with them, and that's why it's a high price point. However, the way that you actually attract the clients is actually quite simple. It's not like a complex funnel or anything like that. So do you want to just maybe give just an overview of like how you actually turn your advertising into high paying clients?
Yeah, for sure. So like most successful businesses, we have a sales funnel. And so the sales funnel basically works that, we obviously advertise on social platforms and Google, push people to a landing page on our site, get their details, their email address, and then we start nurturing them via email just to sort of educate them about who we are, what we do, how we can help them, and also, give them information about what it's like to be an entrepreneur and an e-commerce business owner and that sort of thing. So we do that, and then in the emails we're sort of encouraging them to book in for a call if they're serious about taking the next step, and then they book in a call and then speak to our general manager, and then from there it's up to Jess. She just sort of follows through with them to see if if they want to come on board or if they don't, and then that's basically what the sales funnel looks like. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's very simple. Yeah.
But it works. So
yeah, exactly. And the reason why it works, I think I've said this many times before, it's because you've got a great offer, and a good message that's, that explains what makes you different and unique and what makes you better than everyone else, right? So it's not really about the strategy. You can have a simple strategy and still sell very high-end packages, right? So what you're actually advertising, just for those that aren't aware, it's just a free guide. It's just like a lead magnet opt-in.
Yeah.
That's one of the strategies. And then the other one that we do is we literally send people from the ad straight to an application, right? So it's just from the ad. If you want to kind of grow an e-commerce business, we'll do a lot of the work for you. Apply here and we'll tell you more about it. And so you are Jess, the salesperson. She gets a lot of calls that way as well.
Yes.
So pretty straightforward. Now, one of the things that, again, obviously knowing from working together that we've changed with your campaigns over the last probably 3 months now is a little bit like with your offer, right? And that really changed things a lot in terms of bringing more appointments and closing more sales. So do you want to maybe go into a little bit in terms of like what changes we made to your offer and why you think that had such an impact as what it did?
I think recently we've changed the offer. I mean, you recommended that book to me, 1,000 offers.
Oh yeah, it's just here actually. $100 million offers. Yeah, it's just on my desk, but I'm not going to pull it out because things will fall down.
Yeah. So from that, I read it straight away and applied, obviously, the principles of what the book teaches to my business, and that certainly has had a huge impact of the sales in the last few months and things like that. So I think working with you, we've constantly for the last year and a half, whatever it's been, just been tweaking and changing things, I guess, haven't we? Just to see what works, what gets the better conversions, better quality leads, that kind of thing.
Yep.
So I think we've changed strategies and done new videos and images and copy and things over the years. But I think if I'm speaking, recently, I suppose what's had a big impact is probably by offering the money back offer, which was what sort of came out of that 1,000 offers or whatever it was called, that book.
Yeah, the 100. So the book, actually, I'll pull it out.
Sorry.
I'll try not to have everything fall down here. So for those that are watching, it's called $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. You've probably heard of it. Most people have heard of it now. But yeah, it's I think it's about $20 off Amazon. It's a really great book. And so one of the things that we updated with Sam's offer was basically promising a specific result. So basically the offer before was like, we'll help you create a successful kind of e-commerce store. And then what we did was we took that offer and we were a bit more specific. We said, hey, we will promise to get you to this result, which I think is about 10K a month, like a 10K a month business within 90 days. Or I think you don't pay. Is that right, Sam? Or
they get their money back for what?
Yeah, they get the money back. Or they get the money back. So that was it. So we thought, what, let's create the strongest offer we can, and we'll just advertise that. Where before we still are doing this. We're sending them down the lead mag, like opt in, go down the email sequence. That's a strong offer. Let's just advertise that and see what the response is. And we advertised it. It was getting it still is getting people applying to work with that program. So the lesson is, that when you have a strong offer, you can often actually literally just advertise that and get people applying. You don't need like a complex funnel. So it's worth spending the time on when I say your offer, and when Sam says, the offer, we're talking about what's the result that you're promising, and is there a guarantee with that? The offer for me is yes, your delivery, what you're actually giving them, like the coaching and the training platform. That's kind of part of the offer. But the main thing for me, the offer, is like, what's the actual result that you're promising? Because that's what they're buying at the end of the day. So that worked really well, and it still is. So that's the power of your offers. Now, let me kind of change the direction here, Sam, and talk about the this is something that we've spoken about, over the last, whatever it is, 12 to 18 months we've worked together, in terms of like the mindset side of things, right? In terms of what is required for a business owner to be successful. So in terms of like your attitude to business, or your mindset to business, however you want to call it, what are the key things that you think that you do or have done or have learned in your business that have enabled you to get to the level of success that you're at today?
I think for me personally, I'm an action taker. So I don't procrastinate on things. I just do them. I think that's a big thing. I think persistence.
Yep.
I'm a pretty persistent person, and I don't like losing. I like to win. And a little bit competitive. So I guess those things probably are my drivers for pushing through. Because anyone that runs any kind of business, we all know there's ups and downs, and there's good years and bad years, and tough times and great times, and that's all part of it. And I think it's the people that push through that and just have that determination to win and to succeed are the ones that usually do. I don't think it comes down to education or anything like that. I know myself and a lot of people, I dropped out before I completed year 12. I don't think it's got anything to do with education. I think it's more to do with personality traits, and that's that drive and determination to succeed, and people that take action and don't sit on the fence and procrastinate on things as well. I think that's probably the key things from what I've experienced for myself, and probably for what I see people that go through my course and things like that. I can kind of work out pretty quickly who's going to do well and maybe who's not.
Isn't that interesting? Like I'm the same. I can tell very quickly, once they get into the program and they start taking action or not taking action, or, half showing up to every second call or whatever, you can tell very quickly. And there's nothing to do with like whether they're smart or not.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. And one of the things that was interesting about what you said a few minutes ago is that, we're constantly having conversations about what can we test, what can we improve, like what can we try next. And a lot of us coaches, like, we have this mentality of, okay, I'm just going to set up my funnel and then that's it forever. It's like, no, there's always constant testing and tweaking, and there's challenges that you come up against in business that have to be overcome, and you've got to have that as an expectation. It's never just we get to this level and everything's kind of perfect from then on. There's always like constant testing and tweaking, even once you get to the level that you're at.
100%. I mean, as you know, we're still testing and tweaking things. It literally hasn't stopped in 10 years. Constantly improving things. And that's internally and externally, not just from, a marketing perspective, or it's also internally. We're constantly trying to improve things and changing things all the time. It never ends.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, when it comes to marketing, or this marketing process, like attracting clients, or the sales process, because we haven't really dived into like, closing, high ticket clients over the phone, the marketing and sales process, what are some of your biggest aha moments or learning points in either of those areas that you could share?
I think for us, I mean, the way we've got our sales funnel set up is obviously we're not doing cold calling or anything like that. So it's all warm leads, essentially. So the people that have been nurtured in our funnel, they understand what it is we do. They know the pricing, they're warm, so to speak. So for us, we sort of do a more consultative approach with how we sell to people, I suppose. It's more, we just offer help and try to make sure they've got any questions answered and that kind of thing. We don't really do many sort of sales technique things that a lot of other businesses do. And look, over the years, I've got my business coach, Simon Reynolds. I mean, he's quite into the whole hard core sort of sales approach. And I know he's often said to me over the last 7-8 years that I've been working with him, to sort of, here's some scripts and this is sort of what you need to follow. And I don't know, it doesn't feel authentic to me. And I've been on the other end of when someone's been selling to me like that, and I just straight through it and it completely turns me off. Because it just feels inauthentic. So I think for me and our approach, and we're more consultative. So we sort of we're there to help that person, the lead, make a decision whether this is right or not for them, answer any questions, any objections that they have, and then go from there. And then Jess basically just follows them up, either calling them up or sending them an email just to check in to see where they're at. And that's pretty much it. There's a couple of things we offer that help sort of get people over the line a bit quicker. So we do like if you come on in the next 7 days, you'll get $1,000 off any of our packages. Okay. So that's probably one sort of sales technique thing that we use in our.
That's only after. That's like if they're on the fence, though, right? You don't just kind of throw that out there right away. It's like kind of to get them over the line. Is that right?
That's only to people that have had a call. So if they've booked in for a phone call, after that phone call, Jess sends this templated email that we have out to them, and in that email it says, by the way, if you come on in the next 7 days as a client, we'll give you $1,000 off our packages. So it just sort of helps people, because I think with any sort of sales stuff, if you let people sit too long, they get stale and they move on to something else. People are most, excited about something in that first sort of week, and then after that it sort of simmers off. So I think strike while the iron's hot. So absolutely. I guess that offering helps sort of push some people across the line.
That's a really I don't think people understand. A lot of people don't understand how valuable or powerful that lesson is of striking while the iron's hot. Like when someone's just applied for your program, or they have just opted into your email list right there. That's when they're at that most emotional state. And as you know, people buy on emotions. So getting your offer in front of them within that, as close as you can for them coming into your world is a critical way to convert them. Speaking of the sales process. Now you went from, you mentioned like when you first started, it was like 3K was your price point. And then it went up to, I think your average now is around 25 to 30K for a sale. So what gave you the confidence to go from 3K to all the way up to that type of price point?
That took 10 years, and that was me. I probably struggled with that, to be honest, because I was like, are people going to pay this? And, is worth it?
Yep.
And I think, Simon Reynolds had a lot to do with that. Obviously, pretty much every year I've put the prices up. So I guess it's just, that's probably just, slightly just increase them by, 5% or whatever.
Yep.
And then more recently, as you know, we've sort of introduced quite a high package, which is just over 50K. And I didn't think many people would be interested in it. It's funny, we've just, every time we put up one of those packages, it sells pretty much straight away.
Oh, really? Have you sold the 50K one?
Have we? We've sold quite a few, yeah.
Oh, wow. Because we spoke about that, saying like, just put at the high price point so the other ones like look good. Because I said to you on the phone, I said, because we were chatting, I remember I was driving, and I said, just do a really high price point. Like, because what was your hesitation was providing too much one-on-one or something. What was the hesitation there?
50K package is pretty much a done for you package.
Yeah. And I said, what would you be happy to do that for? Like most of it's done for them. If they pay 50K, I'd be happy to do all that work for them. And I said, okay, just do it at that price point, knowing that no one's going to buy it, and it'll help kind of juxtapose against the other packages. It'll make the other packages look easier to kind of buy. And so it's interesting because you haven't told me that. So you've actually sold them at that 50K price point, which is awesome. That's really good.
Yeah. Every time we roll one out, they sell straight away. So it's just, it's nuts.
And that's also because, like, you've got a name in the industry now, right? So you've been doing this a long time. So what do you think is, when you say they sell out, is that because you have an email list or you have people that know who you are? Like, how do you have people to kind of just buy the 50K packages like that? Where does that demand come from?
I think they're the ones that come in and they're time poor. they want to start a business, but they don't have the time
Yep.
to sort of get everything set up. Because without any new e-commerce store, whilst we do have some done for you services in most of our packages, there's still a lot of work for a new client, to do to get everything sort of set up before they launch.
Yep.
So the Crown package, I guess, is sold to people that come to us and they say, this is something I really want to do, but I'm just time poor. I work full time and I just don't have the time. I'm happy to pay someone else to do it though.
Yeah.
So they're the ones that tend to buy that package, the ones that don't have much time and they just want someone else to kind of set it up and get it all up and running for them so they don't have to do anything.
And are these people this is important because it's like you're tailoring a package for a specific market. So are these people, they've got a full-time job and are they coming into retirement? Is that why they're investing in like an online business generally? And they've got that, say maybe some of their retirement fund that they're using to buy, or is it different for each person?
It's different for each person. And we have had a couple come through that are in that, they're retired and that sort of thing. And then, just a bit of a mixed bag actually.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, cool. And this has been a really, really valuable discussion. I appreciate you sharing, the ins and outs of your business, Sam. So, where can people go to learn more about what it is that you do if they're interested in learning more about what it is that you do?
Yeah, sure. Just visit our website. So it's www.clickstartdigital.com.au.
Cool. Thank you. And go check out Sam. Go check out clickstartdigital.com.au. And then what we'll do right now, we'll wrap up. And if you are a successful coach that would like to be promoted and celebrated on this show, all you have to do is go to, I think the link is podcast.lukecharlton.com. And then you can apply via that link and we can celebrate you and promote you on this show. So once again, Sam, excuse me, I'm not sure what's going on with my throat today, but thanks, Sam, for coming on again. And we'll see everyone in the next episode. See you then. Cheers.